Welcome to Week 13, the Fantasy Football pregame show here at Blue Duck Fantasy Football. We are back after a 1-week hiatus. Matt, what did you do with your last Sunday off where you didn't have to do the show?
I relaxed.
Are you saying this is stressful? Is this a stressful work environment?
It's pretty crazy, actually, yeah.
Well, Tater Tot is here for it. Tater Tot, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here for it. We're going to get right into things. We missed a big week last week, unfortunately. That was on me. A lot of big storylines last week. Not so much this week, but we are going to entertain you for the next 60 minutes or so. Matt, let's get to the weather. What do you got for me today?
Pretty good day for weather, considering it's December for sure. The only thing to maybe watch a little bit is there is some wind in the Jets-Raiders game. It's going to be about 20-mile-an-hour winds there.
The Raiders are just shit for luck for weather games, right? Like it's like their third or fourth terrible weather game.
It's not like crazy, but
it's the worst one of a very nice slate of games.
Yeah, everything else looks pretty good though. Otherwise,
sounds good. Usually we do a Thursday night review, but there was no Thursday night football this week. Matt, how did you enjoy Wednesday afternoon football? Did you watch the game?
Unfortunately, I was stuck at work there.
Don't you work from home? Don't you work from home?
Yeah, but I don't have a TV in my work setup.
You don't have a computer?
I work on my computer.
What a waste of a computer. I watched the second half of the game because I was not at home working, and I had no idea what was going on. I couldn't believe it was such a low-scoring game. But anyways, Chad Coleman, morning, gentlemen. Glad to be back after a few-week hiatus. Week 13, let's do this. It is the last week before most people's playoffs. Some people will have another week if you have a 14 playoff like we do in our Yahoo League, where we are playing each other today, and I might get you to set my lineup because that's how confident I am that I'm going to beat you and also don't care about the game. Kevin Shovel, day off, back after a week off. How's the energy level today? Missed you both. That looks like Andre Pavlik. What a good-looking gentleman there. The energy level right now with these comments is going through the roof. Matt, how's your energy level?
It's pretty high. I'm not gonna lie.
All right, a couple of 8s.
There you go.
Jenkins Cheer Squad is here. Let's go, Matt. I don't know what they're cheering for, but I guess they want more input from you.
I think they want me to beat you in our Yahoo League.
We have the same record. There is a team that I didn't think was any good that's at 1 win behind us. We have 2 weeks left. I'm pretty sure I'm a lock to make it, but, I mean, it's not exactly a lock. Matt, let's get your input since people want you to win on Will Fuller and the rest of the Texans wide receivers, and, of course, Deshawn Watson. First of all, your thoughts about Will Fuller, what happened?
You know what? It makes a lot of sense. He wasn't injured this year, right?
That is true.
That probably helped that situation. So unfortunate for Will Fuller and his owners, but also unfortunate probably for his contract in the offseason. But it's going to take a hit on Deshawn Watson, of course, losing your number one target and your best wide receiver there. A little bit of a boost for Brandon Cooks. I think he's going to get a little bit more looks. A bit of a boost for Kiki Kuti, which I have in DFS today. And I think David Johnson will even benefit. They'll probably go a little bit more to him with him back today.
What do you expect from David Johnson in his first week back? They had Duke handling most of the work. Do you think this is right back to David Johnson, or do you think it's still somewhat of a split? I
think it's going to be pretty much what it was before he had left. I mean, 3 weeks from a concussion, that's more than enough time. It's a bad matchup, though. Indianapolis has Buckner's back, so not a great matchup. So he's not a great start, but he's definitely going to be doable today or viable.
The Colts were pretty beaten after, the Titans just roasted them last week, though. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it could be end of the season. Haven't had your bye week in a while. Defense is getting tired. So, maybe not as bad of a matchup as it looks like on paper based off how well the Colts have been throughout the season. But after last week, perhaps they aren't as good as we expect them to be. Or they're just tired at the end of the season stuff. So Deshaun Watson's still a must start for you? No change there?
Yeah, I mean, it's very unlikely you're going to find a better quarterback on waivers than Watson. Well, I still have him in the top 10.
What about this guy, Taysom Hill?
I would start Watson over Taysom Hill.
Okay, so Taysom Hill doesn't surpass Deshaun Watson. Got a question for you here, Matt. Ingram over Ertz? Seems like a pretty yes.
I'd say Ingram, yeah.
Yeah, who knows what Ertz is going to be. They talked about him being limited and slowly making him back in. And even when he was playing, he wasn't very good. Goddard probably the better tight end in that team now. Tater Tot, Perryman, Gabriel Davis, or Hardman at flex, non-PPR. Going to have to go with Perryman here. Matt, I know that your ranking on Perryman might have been a little off this week, but are you going Perryman here?
Yeah, I guess I'm going Perryman there. Somehow he slipped through my rankings this week.
Yeah, I don't feel that the non-PPR does anything to it. In most cases, it helps Perryman, but none of these guys are big PPR guys.
Right,
so
yeah. Perryman and
Perryman. I mean, Hardman could have the big game, but you can't really bank on that. He's basically Marquise Brown.
Yeah, it's I mean, the wind is going to hurt Perryman's game a little bit there, but I still would go with him over those guys.
So let's talk Taysom Hill. He is the starting quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, but for how much longer is he going to be getting points for people's fantasy teams?
Yeah, I saw a report actually this morning about Drew Brees is working his way back. He was throwing last week. They don't expect him back next week, but possibly the week after for Drew Brees, which is fantasy semifinals or playoffs anyway for most teams.
So, but you're saying Taysom Hill is going to have value in the fantasy playoffs? Very likely.
I would think so. Like, as long as they keep winning, right? Like, what's the rush to get Brees back in there from New Orleans?
Yeah, and they got a couple games on the division lead too, and they're looking pretty good with Hill. Should be a tougher matchup than expected today against the Falcons, who have been playing really well as of late. We do have a question here from Kevin Chevaldayoff. Gentlemen, Carr or the Big Benny Burger? This one is actually Ben for me, but Matt, you have Carr one spot ahead of Big Ben. Something we'll talk about a bit later. Why do you like Derek Carr so much this week?
No, they're playing the Jets. That was gonna be a great matchup. A little bit less excited about it because of the weather there, but
so you flipping? You going Big Ben?
Yeah, because it's so close, and I just don't trust the higher wins there. I'd go Ben.
Big Ben is the answer. So Taysom Hill going to be a factor going forward, at least for another week after this one, is what you're saying, Matt?
Yeah, and we know Taysom's a really high floor kind of guy. So
yeah,
I'm very okay with. I've got him in a super flex. I'm okay starting him for this week and next week.
Let's talk about someone who's not a high floor and a huge gamble week in and week out. The disappointment at quarterback of the season that isn't named Lamar Jackson, and that's Carson Wentz.
Yeah, that's just painful to watch. Real life. I mean, fantasy, he seems to do okay almost week in and week out. But it's a train wreck in Philadelphia. Like that O-line. It's not just Carson. Like the O-line is bad. Like he's getting hit and sacked a lot. So I mean, I wouldn't put it all. If I was a Philadelphia fan, I wouldn't put it all on Carson Wentz. Did you happen to see there was a Instagram, I think this week, that people were taking screenshots in Philadelphia where Carson Wentz jerseys are 50% off right now?
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Kevin Chevaldayoff asked Ben going to play. Matt, your thoughts?
They said they're not concerned about him playing at all.
All right. Question number 1. Kerryon Johnson, no. James White, maybe. Judge Judy, probably not. Beasley and Kirk need 2 of 5 for standard. Give me Beasley and Kirk. Fitz is still out, right? So yeah, Beasley and Kirk.
Yeah. Beasley, I think, is a for sure.
Yeah, John Brown is on IR, Matt, in case you weren't aware.
Yeah. I guess Kirk too, but Judy's up there for me.
I would think James White would be my third, but I'm going to go Beasley and Kirk.
Yeah, I mean, just standard hurts James White, right? Like,
yeah, it definitely does.
Harris there, but for standard,
yeah,
I would go. I think Denver's gonna have to throw. Give me Judy.
Judy over Kirk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Beasley and Judy.
Yeah, Carson Wentz, decent for fantasy. Now I have a question. If they were in any other division and they were nowhere near the top spot, would we be seeing a whole lot more Jalen Hurts, seeing what we have in him?
I don't think so, just because of the Carson Wentz contract. It's like there. I was looking at it because that question's obviously been coming up a ton, and I was looking at his contract and what I've been seeing about it, and like for I think 3 years yet, it's almost impossible for them to get rid of him. So I think Carson's going to be the guy.
So it makes a lot of sense that they drafted a quarterback in the second round. Then that's just some good management. I mean, after taking the wide receiver in the first round,
what happened here?
That looks like a G.
Yeah, that's Jordan Love. They drafted one.
Yeah, but they have only 2 years, and it's an older quarterback, so someone to learn from. But this is a younger quarterback who's locked up, and you've missed twice on wide receivers that you've taken in the last 2 years. Question from Derek Riel. Good morning, gents. Start Dobbins or Monty in PPR. That's going to be Monty all day for me.
Monty, yeah, Montgomery, for sure.
Fist Me Hard Dad 69. What a name. What a name. Best name of the year so far. PPR Montgomery or Deontay in flex. That's going to be Montgomery again for me.
Yeah, but that's close. I like Deontay.
I like Deontay as well, but Montgomery's going to get a whole bunch of work.
Yeah.
He's fresh coming off the bye. He looked great last week. I think he's going to run all over the Lions.
Yeah, it's a great matchup for Montgomery, so yes.
And Deontay is also that guy who, on that Steelers offense, maybe this is the week he takes off. You never know if there's going to be a guy who takes a week off. Last week, they were all decent. Even Eric Ebron was pretty good, but there could be a week where he just takes a week off, whereas that floor from Montgomery is always going to be there. Kevin Shoveldayoff, you two are buzzing today. What a start to the program. Thank you very much. Jack Coleman with question number 2.
Thanks,
Beasley or CD, 0.5 PPR. I believe that's Beasley for me.
Beasley as well for me.
Yeah. With John Brown out, Beasley is now front and center. Matt, you can't hide anymore from Beasley. Beasley is a factor.
I have Beasley not too bad.
Yeah, no, you have him at 34.
There you go. That's not bad.
And you have CeeDee Lamb at 43.
Yeah.
Gallman or Mostert, PPR as well. Ooh, this is an interesting one.
I'm going to go with Mostert.
I believe that would be who I would go with as well, but I don't think it's that big of a gap there. It's only 2 spots for me and 3 spots for you. So, yeah, it is pretty close, but it is Mostert for both of us. I mean, Gallman's been playing pretty well, but again, the Giants have a different quarterback this week, so maybe they focus on stopping Gallman, although I have no plans on watching a single second of this game. I'll have 3 screens up, and I'll be watching all 3 of the other games once it hits 3:25 or 4:25 Eastern, whatever time zone you're in, because it's going to be a blowout. They have no chance of beating the Seahawks. Moving on, let's talk about some backup tight ends playing this week. First up, Anthony Ferkser is the first one up. And Matt, what are your thoughts on him this week with Jonnu Smith out?
I mean, I don't think he's going to just go in and take over Jonnu's role. Should be a good day for A.J. Brown and Corey Davis. I mean, he's going to be okay, but it's not somebody I'd be excited about starting. I mean, I've got him closer to 20 for my tight end ranks. You're banking on a touchdown, I think, there.
So he has had some big games this year. Well, actually, he's had one big game this year. Yeah. The game he had 8 for 113 and a touchdown against Houston. And that was back in week 6, where I guess Jonnu left that game and early on only had 39% snap percentage. So in the one game that Jonnu did miss, he was a monster. So I think there is some upside there. I think he's better than some of the other tight ends that you could be looking at, but he's definitely not a top 10 tight end for me or anything like that. He's more of I don't really have a good tight end, or I've been running with Gronk and I need a tight end. I'm going to go and grab him. Looking at my rankings here, I have him at 14. You have him at 19. So I'm outside the start, but I'm not opposed to starting him if need be. I have him ahead of Jared Cook, who's been absolutely terrible since Taysom Hill has become the quarterback. You'd think that tight end connection would work, but Taysom Hill apparently not a thrower to the tight end. Some more questions here. Dustin Holland says Moss or Gordon. So that would be Zach Moss or Melvin Gordon.
That's my guess on that, yeah.
I probably like Gordon more just because I think they're going to have to score more points. Not ideal, either of them, but both in basically the same situation where it's a split. But good news for the Broncos. They have their quarterback this week who is well rested after not having to play last week. What a joke that was. Pick a D, please and thanks. Pats, Titans, or Chargers? Ooh, I go Chargers.
It's definitely not the Titans.
Yeah, and the Pats and Chargers are playing each other, Matt. So.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'll go Chargers.
Yeah, I just think that Cam's pretty known to turn the ball over. So I'm looking for turnovers, and I'm looking for the Chargers.
Enjoy Bosa.
Yeah, and I don't think the Pats score a lot of points ever. So.
No, they don't.
Yes, Dustin Holland confirming that was Moss and Gordon. So Gordon the pick there. Is Chuck going to hashtag FUQ the Vikes this week? He's in one of my DFS lineups, and he's starting against Matt this week. So if you're rooting for Matt, then you better hope not.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do that great. It's that quarterback situation is just terrible.
Here's a quick stat for you. Last time he missed a game this season, the next game he had 8 for 95 and 2 scores.
Oh. Did he have Mike Glennon throwing him the ball?
And after the bye, another week off, he had 7 for 146 and 1. So when he's well rested after a game, he does really well. I'm pretty sure he didn't have the same quarterback the second time. So
I just don't like Mike Glennon. Sorry.
He looked pretty decent last week, though. Held his own.
All right. So did Hinton from the Broncos.
No, he did not. That was the worst quarterback match of all time. Final cue from Chad Coleman. Higgins, Judy, or Kirk, 0.5 PPR. Again, I don't think it's Judy. It's either Higgins or Kirk. I'm probably going Kirk just because I think the Bengals absolutely suck.
I'm going Judy again.
Oh, my God.
Well, I had picked Judy over Kirk last time. I'm not going to flip on that. And yeah, without Burrow, I just don't trust Cincinnati wide receivers.
Okay, yeah, I do have Kirk ahead of Judy, but I'm just looking to see where I put Higgins. I actually have Higgins one spot behind Kirk. Stroke my eagle. My team is FUQing lately. Who has the ultimate blood flow this week for flex? Mooney, White, or Hines? Give me White. Give me White. James White.
Yeah, I guess out of those options, yeah.
Yeah, he has the most blood flow. I don't think it's a lot of blood flow.
In standard, there's no – you can't – in standard, you can't use Hines, really. Yeah.
Is this standard or is this –
I believe this will be standard.
Oh.
I would go White.
Not ideal. PPR would be – I don't – like Mooney barely made it to the game, so I don't think that he's going to be much of a factor with Mitch Trubisky throwing the football. Although I do like Mitch Trubisky a whole lot more than you do this week.
Which is really strange. Nobody likes Mitch Trubisky.
He's a fine fantasy quarterback. He's not a very good actual quarterback, but he's a fine fantasy quarterback. All right, we talked about Fisker. Let's talk about Luke Wilson with 2 L's in his name. Playing for Baltimore.
What about him?
Any chance you would put him in a starting lineup, backing up Mark Andrews, who's unlikely to play since he tested positive for COVID last week?
No, I would not put Luke Wilson in anywhere near my lineup.
So you'd rather have Ferkser?
Yeah, I guess so.
Fun stat for Ravens fans. Ngakoue, the defensive end who started his season with Minnesota and then went over to Baltimore, is 2-9 on the season. 1-4 since going to Baltimore, and was not doing well when he was in Minnesota either. But Minnesota's turned around without him. Another comment here: Rodgers over Herbert all day. Absolutely.
That's a yes for me as well. I have them the closest, which is going to be surprising. But
I mean, we still have Rodgers higher. I'd be surprised if you had Rodgers lower. So let's talk about a player who's making his comeback possibly this week. Zach Ertz. Are you excited about Zach Ertz coming back?
This week, I am definitely not.
That is the correct answer.
Yeah. Overall, still not really, because I think Goddard's the better tight end in that situation now. I think Ertz is going to be the number 2 tight end to Goddard rest of the season.
Do you think he gets traded in the offseason?
Or cut?
Wow, cut.
Maybe.
All right.
But they did get inquiries about him from before he got hurt, and they didn't pull the trigger, so maybe they won't cut him. But I think they've got too much with Goddard there. What's the point of keeping Ertz?
Yeah. Matt, can you rank these in PPR for CCHAV? James White, Gio Bernard, and Gaskin. My number 1 is going to be Gaskin.
Gaskin's the easy one. Gio gets tough because you don't really know what's going on with Joe Mixon.
Is there a chance he plays today? He's right there.
Yeah. No, there's no chance he plays today.
Okay.
But,
and I mean, that offense sucks. So I'd go with James White in hopes that they score a touchdown, because I think the Bengals might not score a touchdown today.
Yeah. Sorry. I thought this was rest of the season for some reason.
It doesn't say.
Yeah.
But rest of the season or today, I think Bernard's last and Gaskin.
I go Gaskin. I'm going to go – I think I have Gio ahead of Bernard, ahead of White.
Well, let me know if I do as well, and I'm just lying.
Gio.
No, I have James White well ahead of him.
Yeah,
you have Gio ahead.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's Gio's just going to get more volume. James White, you don't know if it's going to be whoever, Harris.
Higher floor for Gio, but it is a very low floor with a bad offense with the Bengals. Thanks for the question, C-Chat. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe. GMB Jeff 021, non-PPR league, Jameson Crowder, Jerry Jeudy, Brandon Naiyuk, Denzel Mims. I need one receiver. Denzel Mims.
Yeah, Mims is going to be my guy too.
Yeah, if you had said PPR, I would have maybe considered Crowder, but I probably still would have went Mims. I absolutely hate Brandon Naiyuk this week. I don't think that offense can sustain 2 wide receivers. I think it's a Debo show. You saw what he did last week. I see that continuing this week. I don't see him having a role that's going to be significant enough for fantasy this week. Kevin Shoveldayoff, which running back is going to insist that their opponent put their glasses on this week? What the?
Yeah, no, that's a legitimate question. I think.
Is that this?
No, it's certainly not.
I'm trying to figure out what this is.
Well, they want to know, yeah. Their glasses might get pretty foggy once this running back does what Kevin is talking about here. Let's say I'll go Montgomery, I guess.
I will go with the kicker for the Colts.
Rodrigo Blankenship?
Yes.
All right.
I have no idea what this question means. But Matt, you're doing good.
It's tough for them to see once they put their glasses, so they have to put their glasses on, and then it gets tougher actually after that.
Still not following.
No, that's okay.
All right.
Good job, Chevy.
Yeah, fantastic question. And again, Matt, you're doing great. Need a defense, Chargers, 49ers, Titans, or Bengals? The Niners play someone good.
Why are we doing the Titans here? Like, I don't get that.
Titans, Cleveland, that Titans wouldn't be in there.
Yeah, like I don't
think that the Bengals suck too much to be in there.
It's
Chargers and 49ers. Yeah, who are the Niners playing, Matt?
Buffalo.
And then it's going to be Chargers for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Thanks for the question, GMB Jeff 021. Make sure to like and subscribe. Matt, question for you. Do you prefer Tuesday night football or Thursday night football?
As a fan?
As a fan, not as somebody who has to do rankings earlier or later based on that.
As a fan, I prefer Thursdays.
Okay.
But
as a fantasy football expert, you would prefer Tuesdays so that you can not have to do rankings?
Just as even I think as a player in the league, you probably prefer to play Tuesday versus a Thursday. At least you get more days off between your next game, which is the Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they don't go to that. Like, it would make sense to just have, they can even do, here's the second question. Would you prefer a doubleheader Monday or Thursday night football?
I don't want doubleheaders. I guess I prefer it on a Monday.
So 2 Monday night games over a Thursday night game.
Oh, I see. Okay, I misunderstood the question. I thought you meant doubleheader on Monday or doubleheader on Thursday.
No. It's
okay.
No, that's moving the Thursday game to Monday, or we're moving the Thursday game to Tuesday, and then pick your favorite.
Keep it Thursday night then.
Keep the Thursday night for everything. Cook or Schultz? Give me Schultz.
Yeah.
Talk about Taysom Hill not really focusing on Cook whatsoever.
I'm gonna go Cook. I think.
We got a quarterback question. It is Lamar, one of the most disappointing quarterbacks of the season, or Herbert. You said Schultz for this, Matt?
Yeah, Schultz, sorry. Yeah.
Lamar or Herbert. Who's it going to be for you, Matt?
Lamar.
It's going to be Lamar for me as well. If he plays.
He's expected to play. So I'm going to say he's in. Obviously, if he doesn't play, then he's not going to do better. But it sounds like everybody that's talking about it today says he's supposed to play. And they have a practice this morning that he can be activated for. So you'll probably be pretty telling there.
You'll see in our league, Matt, that we co-own a team in, that I dropped Kyle Allen, who I didn't know I was still on our team, for Trace McSorley.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a good backup plan.
Exactly.
Or Tuesday or
in a game that does not matter whatsoever. Well, it doesn't matter much. Okay. Now we're going to talk playoffs, Matt. Who makes the playoffs? We're about, what, 5 weeks away? Who are your division winners? While I read this comment, make sure you pull up something so that you can see all the divisions so that you can give me the best guess and give the people watching your knowledge of who's going to make the playoffs so they can go and bet on it and make a whole bunch of money. Derek Riel asked, who do you think you are I am a player this week? Matt?
Go for it. You want me to go first?
I never have one of these.
Well, let's go. Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp.
Back in my DFS play there. Yeah.
Ricky Steamboat, boys, back after a long hiatus. Is there anything better than a nice hot coffee in the Blue Duck pregame show? How do we like Eugene Marquise Hilton this week?
Is that TY's real name? Is that what TY stands for? Eugene Marquise?
I have to Google him. Yep. It does.
There you go.
It does. I did not know this.
No, I'm not really sure.
Thing ever. Where does the T and the Y come from?
It sounds better.
Eugene Marquise.
Yes.
I like him a little. Okay, he's okay.
He's okay. Yeah, they got a good matchup this week.
Yeah, and he had his first touchdown of the season, I think, last week or the week before.
Last week.
GMB Jeff 021, 5 weeks until my team locks Trevor Lawrence. Let's go. If you're a Jets fan, congratulations on that.
What if he stays in college?
If I was the Jets, I would trade the pick away.
Just stick with Darnold?
Yeah, because you're going to get a haul out of it, right? And you're going to be able to build a better team. It's not like Darnold's bad. If they go with him, Darnold's going to catch on somewhere else and be a starter, and you're going from here to a better quarterback. But if you could just be like here and then get a way better team, I think that's what I'd do if I was a GM, but the Jets GMs are pretty terrible. So
here's a question for you. What did you say the same thing when Kyler Murray is coming out and the Cardinals had Josh Rosen?
I don't think so. Yeah, I probably did. But I mean, I'm all about trading back. So there's a difference between Rosen where he was after 1 year and even Darnold where he was after 1 year, right? Like Darnold looked like he's going to become something. Rosen was like, he was terrible. So although I still believe in Rosen. Anyways, let's get your playoff teams, Matt. Who are your division champs? Let's start with the AFC North. Who are you going with?
Okay. So we're going to start AFC. The North?
Yeah.
It's going to be Pittsburgh. I mean, that's a pretty easy one.
Yep.
They've got a 3-game lead as it is. So
what about the East?
The East, I'm going to go Buffalo.
All right, 2 for 2. What about the South?
Titans.
3 for 3. And the West?
Well, I mean, Kansas City's got that one almost locked
4
up.
for 4. On to the NFC, but first a comment from one of the viewers. We have so many picks this year and 100 million cap. Joe Douglas did a good first year. Mekhi Becton, Denzel Mims, Bryce Hall. Yeah, again, love the Denzel Mims pick. The most important thing that the Jets need to do is fire Adam Gase. That's the most important thing. Once the season's over, thank you so much for getting us this great pick. Get the FUQ out.
Yeah, I don't get why. I'd be very shocked if he had anything higher than like a quarterback coach next year.
At the high school level, right?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah,
quarterback coach at the high school level is about as good as he should be. He's
terrible. I don't
get
how
the NFC playoff teams. Who's winning the division? Who's winning the North? You a little biased here.
Okay, then you pick the North winner. If I'm biased,
I will pick the Packers.
There you go.
I will pick the Washington football team in the East. Who are you going with in the East? That's the one. That's a tough one.
That's a tough one because
they're all right there, and they have no shot at the wild card, so they're all playing for that one spot.
If Daniel Jones was healthy, I'd probably pick the Giants.
You think? Yeah, the Giants would be my second pick. The Eagles my third, and the Cowboys my fourth. I'm
going to go Giants anyway, just because Washington's not going to beat Pittsburgh, I don't think. And the Giants might have Jones back next week, so I'll go Giants.
The Giants aren't going to beat Seattle, so
but they'll both be the same. So but it's not like they're going to lose a game because they don't.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
In the West, this is also a tough one. 3 teams that are right there vying for it.
I'm going to go Seattle to hold on to that one.
I would go Seattle as well. So the only different one we have is the East, which doesn't affect the wildcard rankings whatsoever, because whoever gets in there, the next team is going to get like the third pick in the draft or something. Wild card for the AFC, pick 3, and then give me your 4th in case we go there.
We skipped the NFC South.
Saints.
Yeah, Saints. There you go. Okay.
Wild card, AFC.
Sorry, I was reading the comment there.
No particular order. Give me 3, and then give me one more in case we go to 8.
Cleveland rocks, and they stay in.
Yep, I got them as well.
I'm going to go with Indianapolis.
Ooh, okay.
And Baltimore.
Okay, I got Baltimore and the Browns. I have the Colts as my 8th pick. And in the playoffs, I have, because they have a better schedule, the Raiders.
Yeah, see, I don't have the schedules up in front of me, but...
Well, you should have done your research. I agree. Case is still there because firing him right now might motivate players to actually win, spark a fire, and win meaningless games. Yeah, absolutely. This is great general managing. I mean, they're doing a great job at tanking. Let's keep the terrible coach who sucks, and we'll get the best pick. So fantastic there. Matt, who's your 8th? Is it going to be the Raiders for your 8th?
For my 8th
go
pick,
different direction.
Tua and the Dolphins.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about the wild card in the NFC. Who do you have as your 3 wild cards?
We're gonna go Brady and the Bucks.
Yep, 1 for 1. Super Bowl winners.
No.
Super Bowl losers, the Chiefs. Okay, fine.
Kyler and the Cards.
Okay, that's 2 for 2.
And I don't like him, but I'm gonna begrudgingly say Goff and the Rams.
3 for 3. Who is your 8th if they go there?
I guess Minnesota.
The Minnesota Vikings is the correct answer. You only got a couple wrong. Good job.
Thank you. It was a tough call.
All right, this time of the show where we remind you it is cuffing season. There are no more buys after this week. So if you have somebody like Dalvin Cook, you should get Alexander Madison on your team.
Even though he's not playing today.
Maybe somebody dropped him. Great time for you to pick him up. Tony Pollard if you have Zeke. Carlos Hyde if you have Chris Carson. Duke if you have David. Latavius if you have Alvin.
Yep.
Jamal Williams if you have Aaron Jones. We saw last week that if you have Todd Gurley, there is no handcuff. That is a pure 50-50 split. So there's no value in Brian Hill or Ito Smith as a handcuff. I mean, you can start them if it goes that way, but they don't have they're going to get all the work like these guys that we just mentioned are. And I'm sure there are more. Just a reminder, go out there, get your handcuffs. Having that Michael Pittman on your bench that's never going to start when the buys are done isn't going to help your team win. So get your cuffs.
Do you like Boston Scott as a cuff, or is Jordan Howard scaring you away from that?
I'd still go with Boston Scott as a cuff. I think they trust him. They saw what they have with him. I think we're going to see Jordan Howard maybe vulture some goal line touches. But we saw in Miami that he looked pretty done. I mean, under 2 yards per carry. Disappointing to see. That's going to wrap up the cuffs talk. So now it's time for the segment that everybody watches us for. It's the rankings fight. We got 10 today. Most of them are me being way off the board. I have been a little bit out this week, so possibly I'm off, and Matt will let me know. Number 1, Kirk Cousins, who I have at 17, going against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are 30th against quarterbacks. Matt, you and Mr. Black have him on average 11th, 10 and 12 respectively.
Mm.
I thought 17 was fair. He's just too unpredictable for me. This could be a Dalvin Cook runs for 300-yard games, and Kirk Cousins throws for 75.
Well, Cook is banged up, so I could definitely see him coming out if they get up big, which maybe they won't be throwing there. But I think Jags' pass defense is really bad. They don't really have much of a pass rush either. I'm going to say Cousins does pretty well today. I'm going to say 3 touchdowns and 250 for him.
Wow. Who's he throwing the touchdowns to, Matt?
Thielen, Jefferson, and I want to pick somebody that's not on the radar, but I'll go with I'll go BB.
All right. So you heard it there. 2 to Thielen and 1 to Kyle Rudolph. That's the call.
No.
So you have Cousins ahead of Hill, ahead of Carr, ahead of Big Ben, and even Matt Ryan, who's facing a tough defense. Ricky Steamboat asks, is Dalvin Cook the type of RB that will take you out for a nice seafood dinner and then never call you?
It does seem like he is probably that kind of guy.
Yeah. I mean, that you nailed it. If there was one description that I would use to describe Dalvin Cook, that's it right there, Ricky Steamboat.
Yeah.
That's the way to describe him.
I hear he's not a fan of dragons either, so.
I mean, it just keeps filling the narrative here.
Yeah.
Next up, we had Derek Carr. Matt, you're dropping him a bit in your rankings. I have him at 19. You had him at 12. Mr. Black at 10, average of 11. I'm standing by this one. I'd rather start Cousins than Carr. You would rather start Carr than Cousins?
No, I'd rather have Cousins than Carr.
I have him backwards then.
But you have Cousins ahead in both. We both have Cousins ahead.
Okay. How far are you dropping Carr because of the weather here? I'm looking behind him. You have Big Ben and Baker and then Matt Ryan. Is he falling past Big Ben, or is he still going to be ahead of Baker?
He's going to stay ahead of Baker, so he's only dropping like the one spot there.
All right. And you are aware that Baker sucks, right? You do know that?
I am aware, yes.
Okay. Because, I mean, people always mention it in the chat.
But he's got a nice matchup. They're going to have to put up points, so.
Yeah. I don't know. Chat always says Baker sucks. Chat's never wrong. Now we're done with quarterbacks. Let's head off to running backs. And your favorite player, for whatever reason, Jonathan Taylor. You need to buy a Jonathan Taylor jersey and wear it because you absolutely love this guy, and I don't see where it is. I have him at 33. They're going up against a good matchup in Tennessee. That's who they're playing, right? No, they're not playing Tennessee. Houston. Ranked 31 against running backs. You have him 21. Mr. Black has him 18. I think this backfield is just absolute fantasy hell. I think they like to rotate. I don't think they like to stick with somebody, even though he had the game. It wasn't that big of a game. It was like 20 for 80. Like, it was about an average game. So
that was against the Packers' terrible run D.
Yeah.
But Houston also has a terrible run D, and it just seems like the kind of dude that should be using Taylor and Wilkins. I can't see Hines being a huge factor. Like, they shouldn't have to be throwing a lot to keep Hines as a factor there. So Taylor out of the Colts running backs is the guy today for me, coming off a week where he was out. So hopefully he's rested.
Cat believes it's Jordan Wilkins time. Who knows? Good afternoon, Artec, and welcome to the show. Welcome back. I don't like this backfield because I do think they like to rotate. They've done it with tight ends where it's just whoever, and they do it with wide receivers. You don't know who's going to go off. They like to be unpredictable. I think the coach prides himself on that, and I think he's trying to be too unpredictable. So do you think it's going to be Taylor? It's not going to be Taylor. He says, yeah, we're going to give all the touches to Hines. We're not going to give all the touches to Hines. So half PPR, must win, Mike Williams, Brashad Perryman. Matt, I'll let you answer this one.
That's Mike Williams for me. I mean, you don't even have to ask me.
I'm going to check mine because I'm not sure.
Come on, Mike Williams.
Well, I mean, because of your awful rankings, some of my guys got taken out. I'll go with Mike Williams, but because it's half PPR, they're both not very good at PPR. But yeah, I'll go with Mike Williams. Sure, I'll give in to your man crush on Mike Williams. But yeah, there's only 2 mouths to feed there instead of 3, so let's go Mike Williams.
Oh, Hunter Henry, and Austin Eckler.
Sure, also a better team.
Much better.
Kevin Shelvedale, can you speak to the Detroit backfield for a moment? Yes. Hello, Detroit backfield. We are speaking to you. We need you to do well for Kevin Shelvedale today. We know that Swift is out. Adrian Peterson, get your old ass legs going. Kerryon Johnson, please get hurt right away at the start of the game so that Adrian Peterson can have all the carries and all the touches and can have a big game. All right. And that was a moment with the Detroit backfield. Matt, do you have anything to add to them?
Kerryon can also just stay being terrible if he doesn't want to get hurt.
I mean, he is going to stay being terrible. That doesn't change. He has been one of the bigger disappointments that I've seen. And I don't even think it's injury related anymore. He just can't get it done.
Yeah.
Let's talk about somebody who's also been a big disappointment for me in my Dynasty League, where I drafted him several years ago as a stud starter, and now he is stuck in Denver with Philip Lindsay and just isn't very good anymore because of the situation. Still believe in the talent, though. I'm at 31 this week at Kansas City, who's 19th against the run. Matt, you have him top 20. Mr. Black, 25. I feel like he's touchdown dependent. I don't think that they're going to be running a lot. I think they're going to have to pass, so I think the touches are going to be in the low tens. I don't think he hits teens. If he does, it's the low teens. So I'm not overly thrilled to start him. There are plenty of running backs that I would rather start over him, including David Johnson.
Like Lindsey's a bit beat up here too. He's supposed to play.
Beat up.
Yeah, he is supposed to play too. But I mean, Denver's going to do what they can to keep Kansas City off the field, like their offense off the field too, right? Like they're going to be pounding. So that's kind of my justification on Melvin Gordon. I think he is going to be about 18 carries just to try to keep the clock running as much as they can, shorten that game.
Adrian Peterson or Melvin Gordon?
Melvin Gordon.
I'll go Adrian Peterson.
Peterson's playing the Bears D. It's tough.
Todd Gurley or Melvin Gordon?
Very close. I'll go Gordon just because Gurley's matchup's awful.
Yeah, I have a question here. Where do you have Kookie ranked in standard after the Fuller 5 news? Heard his wrench is touching the floor. No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not touching the floor, especially in standard. He's not a good standard play. He's a much better PPR play.
But it is lower for sure.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely lower, but it's not touching the floor.
No.
I mean, it's not even at the knees.
Yeah, I like Cootie more for PPR, but he should be an okay guy. He's going to be the number 2 receiving option in that offense now.
Wide receiver, top 40, top 35-ish?
Well, yeah, top 40, I'd say.
I think this is the only week that he has actual value because after this, the buys are done. So if you have a Godwin or a Moore on buy, this is the week where you plug him. I don't see him taking over Cooks. I think it's going to be a lot of Cooks. No. He might have a game, but you won't be able to start him the rest of the season. That's quite a large wrench. Yes, like we said, it's not touching the floor, although he is a smaller guy. So, I mean, it would make it a bit of a smaller wrench, but still touching the floor is quite the wrench. Matt, let's talk about the Rams backfield. Who's your favorite this week?
Cam Akers.
Why?
He's been their best back for the last 2 weeks, I think.
Because he's broken off big runs.
Pardon me?
Because he's broken off a couple big runs.
Yeah, like his yards per carry is, I think, the highest, right? Like,
yeah, because he has one big run every game, and he's oh, he looks so good.
The other guys don't have
shit.
that.
The answer is they're all shit.
Hey, that's fine.
I have them back to back as well. You have a huge discrepancy. You have Cam Akers where I have Malcolm Brown because I just put him 24, 25, 26. I was like, whatever. Pick one, roll the dice. I think there's another situation where they just kind of go with whoever's hot that game, and there's no like rhyme or reason to it. This is an ugly committee. It's a better team than the Colts for scoring, so I'd prefer to play somebody from here than a Colts running back. But if I had any insight onto who the Colts running back was going to be, I would play them over the Rams running back. Yeah,
I don't really agree. I think Akers is going to be the lead guy. Like, they don't even try to run with Darrell Henderson anymore. Like, I see that he's 25 for you, but no.
I just put him back to back to back.
I dropped him, actually, Darrell Henderson. I was done. Forget it.
Wow. So I'm just pulling up the box score from last week. As we get to this box score that I'm going to read out, let's talk about James White, somebody who I like this week. We've talked about him already. I'm at 23 in PPR, going up against the Chargers, ranked 20th. Matt, you have him 31. Mr. Black, 37. He does have a bigger role now that Burkhead is done. Mm-hmm. He's going to keep catching passes because, I mean, Cam Newton has struggles to throw anything accurate more than 5 yards, so he should get some decent volume. What did he have last game?
Was that James
White? He had a couple touchdowns, right? That's what saved his bacon.
Yeah. But
yeah, he had 6 catches the week before when Burkhead went out. Only 1 last week, which is surprising. But I do see that has to go up. Like, this is going to be a high-scoring matchup. The Chargers put up points. So I think you're going to be a lot less running with whatever the running back's name is.
Damian Harris.
Damian Harris. And a lot more throwing and a lot more to him specifically. So I do like him a bit more than you guys do this week. Matt, you're still not sold.
No, it's still a crapshoot of a backfield. Like what you say about the Rams and the Colts, it's the same thing in New England.
But we kind of know what the roles are for them. Like we know Harris is going to run it about 15 times, and we know James White's going to run it about 5 times and get some passes thrown his way. So we know their roles. It's not like the Colts use them that way, or that the other team, the Rams, use them that way. By the way, Darrell Henderson had more rushing attempts than Cam Akers last week, 10-9. Malcolm Brown 3. So they are still trying to run with him, and he did have a target as well. Basically, Akers was 8 for 23, other than the 61-yard big run that he broke.
What's Henderson's line there?
10 for 19. Yeah. Well, I mean, 10 for 19 or 8 for 23, about the same. You get the one with the nice blocks, and you go for 61 and a score. It is what it is. I'm not reading too much until one big 61-yard run. Let's talk about Juju, Matt. This is the only one where you are off from everybody else. You have him at 18 against Washington. Why are you back on the Juju train? I thought you hated Juju.
I don't hate Juju.
You told me you hate Juju.
They have they throw. They throw and they throw and they throw. That is why he's gonna get probably about 10 targets anyway. He's a little bit touchdown dependent because his yardage isn't great, but without Connor there, I think they're gonna be a pass heavy offense. I can see him easily going, 8 for 60 and maybe a touchdown.
Or 8 for 16, like the terrible line he had last week that was saved by the touchdown. Stroke My Eagle says, so White's weapon is going to reign supreme over Hines. Matt, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, White over Hines this week.
We're in agreement.
Yeah.
White's weapon, bigger than Hines.
For this week.
Brandon Aiyuk, we teased them earlier on the show. I have him way down at 62 this week. Matt, you have at 27. Mr. Black at 33. I don't think that this passing offense can support 2 wide receivers. And it was the Debo show last week. Brandon Ayuk's been only good when he was the only guy there. Other than that, he's been meh. So now that Debo's back, I don't see him doing more than maybe like a 4 for 60 ceiling.
I don't mind that argument, but I think it's a 2 weapon offense, but there's no George Kittle. So I think Aiyuk can still do what he needs to do. I mean, I think that he'll be fine because Tre'Davious White will also be following around Debo, I think, a bit. Maybe not exclusively, but
Kittle gives that offense like more of a dynamic approach, right? Where they can run better because they have him in there to run block versus without him. So I think that it kind of opens things up. And when he's not there, they don't. I think they're going to run a lot with Mostert to try to basically keep the ball out of the hands of the Bills like they did. Did they beat the Rams last week? I have it open.
Yeah, they did. They did.
And I think time of possession was kind of a big stat in their favor.
But no, I could see Aiyuk having a pretty solid game there. I'm not shy about starting him as a 3rd wide receiver flex in a PPR.
Last week didn't play. Debo had 13 targets, 11 receptions. They ran the ball a total of 35 times and passed 35 times. So balanced attack. 12 carries for Wilson, 16 for Mostert. I don't know. I'm not buying it, and I wouldn't put him in any starting lineups. You have him close to the starting zone, and that's way too close for me. If anything in the 40s, I'd be okay with, but not in the 20s or 30s. Let's get to some tight ends. Eric Ebron, you both love him at number 9. I have him at 16. I think he's been all right, but I just don't think that he's top 10 material at tight end. He's been touchdown dependent. He's had 3 games over 50 yards, and they were barely over 50 yards, and those are his highs for the season. So give me someone like Hayden Hurst. Give me someone like Big Bob Tunyon.
Yep.
Even a Mike Gesicki and Kyle Rudolph. I like Kyle Rudolph this week with Irv Smith out again. So he had a decent week last week when Thielen was out as well. So I'd rather have him. And I'm still a believer in Logan Thomas. I think that Alex Smith used the tight end. No, he hasn't in the last couple games, but Logan Thomas also a threat to throw for a touchdown.
Yeah,
former quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. So
he is
that upside in him, and definitely a Dalton Schultz. Give me Dalton Schultz over him.
Yeah, not for me. Ebron was a focal point last week against the Ravens. They didn't do great, but again, it's similar with Juju. I think the Ravens are going to throw probably about 45, 50 times.
You said Steelers?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. The last one we have, and his name is Austin Super. Did I miss something last week? Did he go off? Because you have him 7th and you have him 10th. Mr. Black has him 7th. I'm down at 17 behind Eric Ebron. I don't see why you like him so much.
What did I look at for Hooper?
His contract? He's got a nice contract.
Yeah, he does have a nice contract, but no, they've gone away from what's the other tight end there? Bryant and Njoku. Yeah. But yeah, so he's gonna be the guy for after Jarvis. Like, I mean, Landry kind of pulls away some coverage. He's the number 2 option in their passing game. I mean, you could argue maybe the backs, but no, Hooper will be pretty good. Good matchup. They're going to put up points. I wouldn't be shocked at all if he finds the end zone this week.
Found the end zone last week on his 2 targets for 13 yards. The week pretty before, good. 5 targets, 3 for 33. The week before that, 2 targets, 1 for 11. I don't know if you know this, but one of the commenters mentioned Baker sucks. So,
well, that's all the more reason to favor a tight end.
Fant or Ebron, I'll take Fant all day.
Yeah, Fant.
So you're going to be looking to score a lot of points, and I love me some Fant. I should probably check to see if I have him in the league where I own him. I do. I also have Zach Ertz, who's not going to be starting over Noah Fant this week. But I was hurting because Golladay couldn't play a wide receiver. I had to drop one of my cuffs to pick up Denzel Mims to start alongside T. Higgins and Devontae Adams. Not great.
Sorry, I've got a write-in question here.
A write-in? No, not a phone-in?
No phone in. Start 3. Doesn't say if it's PPR or not, and he already told me what he's doing. But Montgomery, Gaskin, Eckler, and Kamara.
Start 3.
Yeah.
So it's not the last 2. Who are the first 2?
Montgomery and Gaskin.
I think you got to sit Gaskin.
Oh, and we do have a phone call coming in here.
Here we go.
Caller, you are on the air. Hello.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Good to be here. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Out of the program.
First time ever caller on this program.
Quick question for you. Are we going with Dallas Goedert or Jimmy Graham this weekend? Thanks.
You're going to go with Dallas Goedert.
Dallas Goedert, yeah, for sure.
Goedert. Thanks for the call. Our first ever caller on the pregame show.
That was exciting.
It was exciting. What an exciting time we live in. I got a question from Instagram for you, Matt. Start Hyde, Scott, or Wilkins?
Hyde, Scott, or Will? Ooh, why?
All backups.
Why any? Why?
I don't have these answers, Matt. I just have the question. Start Hyde, Scott, or Wilkins?
Not Scott. I guess Hyde.
Is he playing for sure?
If you believe Pete Carroll, he is.
Okay.
He should know. Okay,
let's get down to my start-sit decisions, and we'll finish off with the most important one. Why does that eye look weird? Because I can't spell, apparently. All right, so my start-sit decisions. Number 1, this is a league where this is a dynasty league. I've finished first and second in the 2 years of existence. And if I don't win this week, there's a chance I miss the playoffs. I'm currently 6th with a slight points lead, playing the defending champion, so looking for revenge. But I have so if I win, I'm in. I'm up by 100 points. So if I win, I'm in. But if I lose and he has an easier matchup, he's in if he wins. So in the flex, this is 2 flex. I have Melvin Gordon and Jarvis Landry. Well, let me get you some more players here. Melvin Gordon, Jarvis Landry, Alan Lazard, Sterling Shepard are all currently in the starting lineup. There are options such as James White, Jamison Crowder, Denzel Mims, Benny Snell, T. Higgins, Goddard. That's about it. So I know I gave you a lot there. So let's get is Jarvis Landry a start for sure?
Yeah. There's no tight end premium or anything like that, right?
It's just regular. Half PPR.
Okay.
So Jarvis is in for sure.
I'd say so, yeah.
Okay, so Lazard starting at wide receiver, Sterling Shepard in the flex, and Melvin Gordon. Those are the three that are in right now. Would you put Crowder, White, Mims, Snell, or Higgins ahead of any of them? Or Goddard.
I'm thinking Benny Snell over maybe Alan Lazard.
Okay, so then Sterling Shepard would have to start then. And you want over Alan Lazard, Benny Snell. You're confident that this is because I don't think I have another Monday option. Oh, I have Gus Edwards on Tuesday would be my other option to run with if Connor plays.
Everything is saying Connor's not playing, and Connor's eligible to come off tomorrow off the COVID list. I mean, just with the guy's medical history, I just can't see that being rushed.
Okay, so Melvin Gordon is now the last flex, and there's Sterling Shepard. Are we putting in a T. Higgins or an Alan Lazard or a Goddard or a Mims ahead of those guys?
Goddard's the only one I'm thinking is close, and I'm going to say leave it as is.
Okay. That's the one league that I need to win, so hopefully this doesn't bite me. We got some questions here. Flex, D-Hop, Scary Terry, C.H. Claypool, or Landry. I'm sorry, do you need to see one of these? Let's go Scary Terry.
Hopkins?
Against Ramsey?
Yeah, I'd still go Hopkins. I can't see needing to bench a couple of these players, though.
I have Scary Terry ahead of Hopkins this week, so I go Scary Terry. He did say Josh Allen or Lamar. Give me Josh Allen just because of the fact that Lamar might not play. And if you don't have a backup plan, you're screwed.
Yeah. I would say Lamar, all things being equal.
Yeah, if it was all playing today, sure. PPR flex, Cooper or Dobbins? I'll go Cooper.
Yeah. That's tough. Baltimore is they're Tuesday night, though, right? Dallas. You know what? I'm going to go Dobbins.
Okay, who do you want to play against today, Matt? Melvin Gordon or Denzel Mims or T. Higgins?
I want to play against T. Higgins.
Okay, you're not getting him. It's Gordon or Mims.
You want me to actually pick it? The right one is Gordon. I'd rather
Bernard, Hyde, or Jay Williams? Bernard,
Hyde, or Jay Williams, yeah.
Naiyuk or Higgins?
Naiyuk for me. I know you're going to pick Higgins.
Gesicki or Tonyan?
Tunyon, sorry.
Tonyan, that's right, Tonyan. So let's rank these ones in case you wanted them ranked. I'll go Scary Terry, D-Hop, CEH, Landry, then Claypool.
The same except for D-Hop, then Scary Terry.
Okay. See you later, guys. Thanks for the great answer. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe, Kellen, if you haven't already. That's going to wrap it up for the show today. It is football time. It is week 13. It is possibly the last week for a lot of people because their seasons are going to be over. But not for me. And not for Matt.
No. Still lots of games left for us here.
Matt, anything to add before we go?
Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening, and thanks for calling.
Thanks for calling. Yeah, first ever caller. Exciting. You didn't even get a name, though, so we don't know who it was.
I think he did mention it was Macho Man. I just didn't have it on speakerphone yet.
The Macho Man called in, and he didn't really have the voice, though, so I think it might have been an imposter. Last before we go, good luck this week, boys. Big matchup in the AFL. Agreed. Is that our league or your league? Ours. Armchair Football League. Oh, I don't know what it's called. Yeah. All right. That's going to wrap it up. That's it.